imagine, if you will, standing right at the base of this enormous half-finished skyscraper. You look up, and there are cranes just arcing across the sky, almost like these giant metallic birds, right? Their movements are so precise, so deliberate, and then down below them, the air is just humming. You've got the clang of steel, rhythmic, constant. You hear power tools bursting, and then just this murmur, this background noise of maybe 100 different tasks all happening at once. It's breathtaking, really. It's complex, like a ballet, a symphony of controlled chaos, you could say. We have countless materials, massive machines, and highly skilled hands all moving together, almost like they're dancing to some invisible rhythm. But who's leading this? Who's the conductor for this whole intricate orchestra? Who is that one person on the ground? The one whose focus, whose drive ensures that the big vision, the one laid out on the blueprint, actually becomes real, tangible. Brick by brick, beam by beam.
It really is a powerful image, isn't it? That whole idea of one single indispensable person translating, lines and calculations on a page into something solid, something enduring, something real. It's truly a massive undertaking.
Absolutely. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're taking a deep dive into the world of that individual, the construction superintendent. They are, well, pretty much the undisputed leader of the job site. It's a role with just immense responsibility, requires tireless leadership, and honestly, profound practical wisdom. So our mission today is to pull back the curtain a bit, give you a look at a typical day in their life. We'll explore the unique, the demanding skill set they need, from like encyclopedic technical knowledge of construction all the way to masterful, almost intuitive people skills. You're going to find out exactly why the superintendent is often called the single most important factor in a project's field success. And how, no matter how brilliant the plan is on paper, success always comes down to execution. We're going to show you just how they make that execution happen. Okay, before we get right into their direct responsibilities, let's really paint the picture, set the scene. What kind of environment are we actually talking about on a typical construction site? Because, it's far from peaceful, isn't it?
Oh, definitely not.
Our sources, they describe it so vividly. Things like controlled chaos or a tangle of activity. Picture people of all trades busy in a limited space amongst wagons laden with building materials. It kind of brings to mind those, bustling, almost frantic scenes from history, like building the great cathedrals, hundreds of hands working together. You can just picture it, the dust, the noise, constant movement, everything interwoven.
Yeah, what's fascinating there is that it isn't just, a picturesque scene or just noise and movement. It's really a testament to the superintendent's ability, almost superhuman sometimes, to orchestrate something that otherwise would just be completely overwhelming, paralyzing even. Think about it. They're the central point, the sort of gravitational pull bringing together this huge, really motley group of specialists. We're talking electricians, plumbers, steelworkers, masons, equipment operators, finish carpenters, everyone.
Right, all the different trades.
Each with their own skills, their own language, their own schedule. The superintendent acts like, one source called it one great profession, managing countless diverse tasks, all within that tight, active, and often pretty dangerous space. Without that central figure, that control, it would just vanish. It'd devolve into unmanageable chaos. Safety, schedule, quality, all out the window.
Wow, it sounds like walking a tightrope, honestly. But with so much needing control, how does a superintendent manage that without becoming, a micromanager?
Right.
Without stifling the very expertise they need?
So what does this all really mean for their actual job? How do we define their role beyond just being the boss? Well, if you connect this to the bigger picture, the superintendent is basically the project lead on the ground. They're the person who helps the project team to achieve the project objectives, typically by orchestrating the work of the project. That's straight from the PMBOK guide, the sort of Bible for project management.
Okay.
And this goes way beyond just watching over things or ticking boxes. It's about active, really engaged leadership. Often they adopt what's called a servant leadership style.
Servant leadership. How does that work in construction?
It doesn't mean being subservient, not at all. It means the superintendent sees their main job as empowering the team. They focus on understanding and addressing the needs and development of project team members, not just barking orders. Think of them as the ultimate enabler. They're constantly clearing obstacles, making sure people have the resources they need, and creating an environment where every single craftsperson, every foreman, every subcontractor can perform at their absolute best, knowing their leader has their back.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that approach, it builds trust, it builds intrinsic motivation. And those things are priceless on a long, tough project.
So they're really more than just a site manager then. They are the company's face in the field, aren't they? The main point of contact for everything happening on that site, from the first shovel hitting the dirt to the very final walkthrough.
Indeed. They carry a huge weight as the firm's primary representative right there on the construction site. And this means their job goes way beyond just following the blueprints. They're constantly making sure the project execution lines up, not just with the drawings, but also with the organization's larger strategic or stewardship goals.
Wow, okay, so bigger picture stuff too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine the complexity. They're balancing all these diverse stakeholder needs and priorities. You've got the owner's budget, the architect's design vision, the practical needs and safety of the workers, maybe even local community concerns. They're making critical, high-stakes trade-offs constantly on the fly. Sometimes they even have to adjust the project work to meet the evolving direction if the overall strategy shifts, especially when it's volatile and evolving.
The very dynamic.
Very. It's not static at all. And they are directly responsible for communicating the big vision and direction for the project to all the teams bringing it to life, making sure every single person knows not just what they're building, but why it matters, how their piece fits into the whole puzzle. It's just an immense amount of strategic, operational, and people stuff to juggle all at once.
Okay, let's zoom in then. Let's talk about a typical day. Because this job, it sounds like it starts incredibly early, right?
Yeah.
Like often before the sun is even really up. Getting things ready, thinking about potential issues, prepping for the day's big push.
Absolutely. That early morning huddle with foremen, it's not just a habit, it's a critical strategic meeting, a daily ritual, really, that sets the tone for the entire day. This is where the superintendent goes over the contractor's construction schedule in detail, making sure everyone from the smallest subcrew to the lead foreman understands the day's exact objectives, what's on the critical path, any potential roadblocks.
Right.
And crucially, they engage in what's called commitment planning. For craft work, this ideally happens daily or by shift.
Commitment planning.
Yeah, it's less about dictating orders and more about collaborative accountability. It clearly defines how and what work should be done, when, by whom. But it's built on the foremen making commitments they genuinely believe they can keep.
Ah, I see. So it's about buy-in.
Exactly. It brings potential issues up before they become actual problems, ensures clarity in that buy-in before a single hammer swings or a truck arrives or a crane lifts anything. It's about setting the rhythm, the direction for hundreds of interconnected tasks right at the start of the day.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting to me. That mastery required in managing the schedule on a complex project. It's clearly not just, a chart tacked on the wall you glance at occasionally. It must be this dynamic, constantly shifting thing that needs juggling, foresight, keeping an eye on the future, always.
What's truly fascinating here is how superintendents use these sophisticated network methods, like the critical path method, CPM, to manage it all.
CPM, right?
Yeah, and CPM isn't just a straight timeline. It's a powerful way to map out all the tasks, see how they depend on each other, figure out durations, and this gives you greater early warning of the impact of delays on total project completion. Much more insight than a simple bar chart.
Okay.
But modern tech has taken this to a whole new level. Imagine this. 4D BIM scheduling applications can dynamically link the project CPM schedule activities to 3D objects in the BIM model.
4D. So time is the fourth dimension.
Exactly. You're not just looking at a timeline. You're literally watching the building construct itself virtually over time. It creates this graphically rich and animated representation of the planned construction sequence set against time. The BIM handbook calls it a powerful tool for phasing, coordinating, and communicating planned work. And it really is. A superintendent can watch the building go up digitally before it even starts on site, spotting potential clashes in space and time.
Like what kind of clashes?
Well, like a crane trying to lift a beam through a space where, ductwork is scheduled to be installed at the same time, or maybe two different trades needing to work in the exact same small room simultaneously.
Okay.
BIM catches those weeks, even months, before they become a real, physical, expensive problem on the ground.
So they're not just reacting to problems as they pop up. They're actively looking for bottlenecks, trying to see around corners before the project hits them. It's like a chess master thinking several moves ahead.
Precisely. They understand deep down that delays are pervasive in systems and they are strong determinants of behavior. That's a great insight from thinking in systems. So every single day, identifying and proactively mitigating these potential delays, it's a crucial, high-stakes part of the job. It's this continuous dynamic balancing act. always keeping in mind that cost-time-scope triangle that, basically governs every construction project.
Right, the classic triangle, cost, time, scope.
Exactly. That tension between finishing on budget cost, on schedule time, and meeting all the requirements. Every decision they make, every small adjustment, every improvisation on site aims to keep that balance, to stop one leg of the triangle from collapsing the others and bringing the whole project to a grinding, very expensive halt.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say there's a sudden material delay that impacts time. The superintendent might have to weigh paying a premium for expedited shipping, which hits the cost, or maybe negotiating a slight reduction in scope with the client, all while figuring out the ripple effect on every single task that follows.
Wow. It really sounds like they need to know a little bit about everything, like from how the ground gets prepped to the final coat of paint. It's not just managing people or schedules, it's truly understanding and managing the actual build from the ground up.
And this raises a really important question. Can one person actually know that much detail? And the answer for a good superintendent has to be yes. Deep construction knowledge isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely fundamental.
It's essential.
It is. And it's not just a list of facts. It's this integrated, almost intuitive understanding that lets them act as the project's ultimate troubleshooter. Imagine being able to spot a potential foundation issue before the concrete's even poured. Or seeing a material compatibility problem months ahead. That deep practical wisdom is like an early warning system. It prevents things from escalating, saves potentially millions.
Okay, give us some examples of that deep knowledge. What kind of things are we talking about?
All right, let's see. Foundations. It's way more than digging a hole. They need to understand structural engineering basics, how to plan for stepped footings, tie beams, grade beams on tricky sites or with different loads. They oversee the concrete pour for foundation walls, making sure those vertically projecting dowels of steel reinforcing bars are placed perfectly to tie the footing and wall together structurally. Get that wrong, the whole building could be compromised.
Okay, that's critical.
Definitely. Then there's materials science. They need to know how materials behave, like seasoning distortions in lumber or radial shrinkage, how different woods react to moisture. They appreciate why surface lumber is easier to work with. It's more uniform, speeds things up, improves quality. And it's not just wood, it's metals, concrete mixes, composites, knowing their strengths, weaknesses, how to use them right.
What else?
Complex assemblies. Think about building a masonry fireplace. It's intricate. They need to make sure every part, dampers, ash stores, flue liners, is installed correctly, meets code, works properly for function and safety. And that applies to all major systems: HVAC, plumbing, electrical, building enclosure. This is huge for energy efficiency, durability, comfort. They ensure proper installation of thermal insulation and vapor retarders. They understand rain screen design to manage moisture.
Rain screen. What's that?
Oh, it's clever. The outer layer sheds most rain, but there's an air gap behind it. Any water that gets through can drain away harmlessly. Keeps the structure dry, prevents mold, long-term damage.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. And they direct correct weather strip placement, too. It's all about creating a tight, comfortable, durable building. And finally, advanced techniques. They're often directing the use of things like insulating concrete forms, ICF, for better insulation and strength, or implementing advanced framing techniques to use less lumber and make the building more energy efficient. It's not just mastering old ways, it's optimizing new ones, too.
That is an astonishing range of knowledge. It really hammers home how much relies on their expertise.
Yeah.
Not just for quality, but to avoid incredibly expensive mistakes or even dangerous failures.
Exactly. And that deep knowledge isn't just, theoretical. It's the practical foundation that lets the superintendent be the ultimate quality control checkpoint. They are constantly verifying that testing and inspection of the contractor's work is being accomplished to determine whether or not the work is being performed in accordance with the contract's specifications. That's from the CMAA standards.
So daily checks.
Daily when appropriate, yes. They're the eyes, ears, and the expert mind ensuring every single bolt, every weld, every pipe, every finish meets the standard, protecting the building's integrity in the long run.
Okay, with all those moving parts, that huge knowledge base, the constant pressure of schedule and budget, the day-to-day reality must feel like constant firefighting. Problems just popping up constantly that need immediate decisive action.
It absolutely is. Superintendents are pretty much always employing critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making, as the PMBO guide puts it. Think about this scenario from Tracy Kidder's book House. An architect specifies a metal detail for fire safety between a fireplace hearth and some cabinets. A skilled, experienced worker looks at it and just questions its purpose, exclaims, "Ugly. Horrible.
Oh, wow. What does the superintendent do then?
Right. They can't just ignore it. They have to navigate that conflict, the tension between the design intent on paper and the practical, maybe even aesthetic application on the ground. Sometimes it involves managing worker morale, pride in their craft. It's about finding a creative, pragmatic fix that keeps the design integrity but also respects the person doing the work. It's a subtle thing, but crucial. Finding a solution that works for everyone without derailing the project.
And they need answers fast, don't they? Construction doesn't really wait for endless meetings or bureaucracy. Every hour of delay costs money.
Yes, speed and efficiency in solving problems are absolutely critical. They get really good at using formal, but fast, tools like requests for information, RFIs. It's a standard tool.
RFI.
Yeah, these are direct questions to designers or clients to get quick clarification on drawings or specs if something's unclear. For bigger issues, ones that might affect the scope, cost, or schedule, they might initiate a request for change, RSC, or a request for explanation, RFE. It's like a continuous diagnostic process, like a doctor using the scientific method to figure out what's wrong and what to do about it, as the goal describes it. Constantly assessing symptoms, finding the root cause, and prescribing effective, timely fixes to keep the project healthy and on track.
Okay, moving beyond the technical stuff and the nonstop problem solving, there's the human element. Managing people is often called the hardest part of any job, right? But especially on a diverse, high-pressure construction site with so many different personalities and trades.
Oh, absolutely. If we connect this back to the bigger picture, masterful people skills are truly indispensable. You could argue they're the superintendent's most powerful tool. The superintendent is like the social glue holding all the different trades, subs, and direct hires together as one functioning team. They foster collaboration, for instance, making sure the successful bidder become part of the project scheduling process.
So involving them in planning.
Yes,
Yeah.
getting their input, respecting their expertise, not just telling them what to do. And they're often the key mediator in disputes, whether it's over scheduling, a quality issue, or just personalities clashing. Think about that story from House Again, the builder and owner arguing about a staircase. The owner wants it absolutely tight, perfect. The builder's dealing with real-world imperfections, materials, cost overruns.
Yeah, that sounds tense.
It is. The superintendent has to navigate those emotional, practical conflicts with diplomacy, firmness, fairness, keep the work moving, keep relationships intact. That's vital for future projects, too.
And they also need to be motivators, right? Inspiring everyone towards a common, often difficult goal. Especially on long, tough projects, it's not just about getting compliance. It's about getting commitment.
Absolutely. A really great superintendent gets that people do their best work when they feel connected to it. They instill a real sense of purpose in the team, making everyone feel, as the Power Broker put it, that what we were doing together was tremendously important for the public.
That's powerful.
It is. It's not just about hitting deadlines or budgets. It's tapping into that basic human drive to build, to create something meaningful, something lasting. That kind of leadership builds deep loyalty, deep respect, which you absolutely need on a long, hard project. It turns a bunch of individuals into a real team, united by pride and accomplishment.
So what does all this mean for those non-negotiables we expect in any building? Quality and safety. These have got to be the absolute bedrock of their responsibility.
Indeed, paramount. The twin pillars, really, that all successful construction stands on. The superintendent rigorously enforces the quality requirements of the contract documents, making sure daily, sometimes hourly, inspection and testing happens to verify compliance at every single stage.
And it's not just a quick look.
No, definitely not. It includes sticking to strict guidelines from sources like Building Codes Illustrated, covering everything from allowable building heights, egress with reductions for fire safety, to ensuring proper ventilation of concealed attic and rafter spaces to prevent moisture, ensure healthy air, and protect the roof structure long term. They are the guardians of the specs, making sure the build isn't just okay, but excellent.
And safety. I imagine it's just constant minute-by-minute vigilance, a deep personal commitment beyond just following the rules.
Safety isn't just a priority, it's a constant state of being,
Huh?
woven into every single action, every decision on that site. The superintendent oversees contractor safety enforcement and compliance. That means daily inspections, yes, but also requires job hazard analysis, or JHA, for any critical, high-hazard, or non-routine work.
JHA, job hazard analysis.
Right. Proactively identifying risks before the work starts and putting controls in place to mitigate them. Any deficiencies or imminent hazards they see, they're addressed immediately, often with written notices, follow-ups to ensure it gets fixed fast. And if unsafe conditions aren't corrected properly and quickly, the superintendent has the absolute authority and responsibility to issue a stop order.
Stop work completely.
Completely. Halt everything until the situation is made safe. And the rules are clear. No extensions of time, no extra money for delays caused by safety stops. Their ultimate non-negotiable job is making sure everyone who walks onto that site goes home safe at the end of every single day. It's a profound moral obligation.
Okay, in our world today, everything's becoming digital connected. Technology must be a massive game changer for these leaders, right? Giving them powerful new tools to handle all these complex demands, scheduling, safety, everything.
Oh, it's absolutely revolutionized the field. It's transformed construction from something largely analog into a highly digital, integrated process. Building information modeling, BIM, isn't just, fancy drafting. It's genuinely a superior design environment when compared to traditional 2D CAD. It fundamentally changes how projects are designed, collaborated on, and built. It creates this rich, intelligent digital model of the building.
Yeah, I can definitely see how visualizing a project in 3D and even 4D, like you mentioned, would be a huge plus for a superintendent.
Yeah.
Way better than just static 2D drawings.
Precisely. And one of the most powerful uses for superintendents is clash detection. BIM software can identify interferences by searching for intersecting volumes within that digital model. This lets teams be proactive during the design phase instead of reactive during the construction.
So finding problems before they want them?
Exactly. Instead of finding out that a plumbing pipe is supposed to go right through a structural beam after you've started framing.
Oh, nightmare scenario.
Right. BIM catches those problems virtually. Engineers and architects fix them digitally, saving huge amounts of time, labor, cost, catching problems before they hit the physical site. Imagine the savings, not to mention avoiding the frustration of tearing out completed work.
So it's not just about avoiding costly mistakes, but also helping everyone involved, the client, the workers, understand the design better, communicate more effectively.
Exactly right. Superintendents use BIM a lot for thorough design review and for doing virtual hard hat reviews. And this isn't just for the internal team. It lets clients, stakeholders, even the people who will eventually use the building, visualize the spaces and functions in a really intuitive, immersive way, long before construction even starts.
Like a virtual walkthrough.
Pretty much. And this process helps enormously to minimize the potential for changes after the building is constructed, which means far fewer costly changes and delays during the actual build. It's like walking through the finished building, experiencing it, understanding it, before a single foundation is poured. That early clarity prevents rework and keeps clients much happier.
And I've heard BIM goes beyond just the visual stuff, the clash detection. Does it help with managing money too? Cost control?
Absolutely, and this is where it gets incredibly powerful. BIM integrates 5D cost management capabilities.
5D, so cost is the fifth dimension.
You got it. This means every element in the BIM model can be attributed to what it will actually represent in terms of resources and respective costs. So you click on a wall in the model, you instantly see the costs tied to it, materials, labor, equipment. This allows for parametric and dynamic quantity takeoff. Meaning, as the design changes, the model automatically updates the material quantities and, crucially, the costs. This leads to more accurate estimates and lets you do much better options analysis and value engineering. Superintendents can quickly see the cost impact of design changes, different material choices, different construction methods, making informed, data-driven decisions to optimize the budget without sacrificing quality or schedule. It's a massive help for financial oversight.
Okay, beyond BIM, are there other methods superintendents are using, maybe things borrowed from other industries, to keep driving efficiency, improving how things get done on the ground?
Yes, definitely. Lean construction principles are becoming more and more vital. It's all about creating value and relentlessly cutting out waste. One key part is the last planner system, which we touched on earlier. It helps superintendents systematically figure out how and what work should be done when by whom. But critically, it's about those foremen making reliable commitments they are confident they can keep, and identifying roadblocks before they cause problems.
Proactive again.
Very proactive. It focuses on optimizing the flow of work, tackling long lead items like custom steel or specialized equipment by getting fabrication and delivery schedules right, preventing bottlenecks that could stop the whole project. This constant focus on efficiency, it lines up with that ambition of creating more and better serviced volumes of habitation, delivering higher quality, faster, with less waste. It's about always improving, not just hitting the minimum, but striving for excellence every day.
The stakes in construction are just incredibly high, aren't they? We're talking projects worth millions, sometimes billions of dollars, not to mention the reputations of entire companies, the jobs of hundreds of people, and the superintendent is right smack in the middle of all that, feeling that intense pressure every single day.
And this brings up an important question. What exactly is the weight of that responsibility? It's huge. The superintendent's role carries immense pressure because their decisions directly impact labor and equipment expenditures. And those are notoriously variable and the most difficult to estimate accurately on any project.
Hmm.
Their actions, how well they execute, it affects the entire supply chain. It impacts not just the immediate budget and schedule, but also critical things like cash flow, customer relations, and reputation.
Hmm.
Hitting deadlines is everything. Remember that builder facing the October 31st or nothing ultimatum in-house?
Yeah, intense pressure.
Exactly. Failing to deliver on time can mean massive penalties, ruin client relationships, and really damage a company's future work. It's not just about the physical building, it's the whole financial, logistical, relational ecosystem of the project. And a huge amount of that rests squarely on the superintendent's shoulders.
Wow. But despite all that pressure, the constant firefighting, the sheer weight of it all, there must be an incredible reward, right? Almost primal. Seeing something you envisioned, something you led, actually come to life. Standing there, tall and proud.
Oh, absolutely. There's a deep satisfaction, a profound human fulfillment that, in many ways makes up for the daily grind. It's described really well in The Power Broker. Seeing their plans turn into steel and concrete and watching the transformation take place so rapidly that the fulfillment was all the more satisfying. That experience, it really captures what the existential pleasures of engineering calls the existential pleasures of engineering. That deep, innate human drive we have to conceive ideas, to design things, and ultimately to build. To leave a lasting, tangible mark on the world. The superintendent is the ultimate proof of that truth. No matter how good the plan is, success always comes down to execution. They are the ones who literally make it happen, turning lines on paper into the structures that shape our skylines and shelter our lives. It's a legacy built with sweat, wisdom, and just tireless leadership. Hashtag, tag, outro.
So we've walked through the complex, demanding, but also incredibly rewarding world of the construction superintendent today. We've seen them as the indispensable leader, the one orchestrating that daily symphony on a building site. From navigating complex schedules with advanced tools, mastering that deep construction knowledge, to solving problems under intense pressure and using masterful people skills. Their role is just a profound example of practical leadership in action. They're the ones who, often against the odds, turn abstract designs into concrete reality, ensuring safety, quality, and efficiency every single step of the way.
Yeah, their unique mix of technical skills, strategic thinking, and that deep human connection. It really makes them the absolute linchpin of any successful construction project. A true testament to applying knowledge and leading effectively.
Indeed. So the next time you walk past a towering new building, or maybe a beautifully crafted house, even just a carefully renovated public space, I invite you to just take a moment. Consider the unseen layers of decisions made, the constant firefighting that went on, the critical thinking, and the immense practical wisdom of the superintendent that made that structure stand there. And maybe ask yourself, what other undisputed leaders are out there in our world? Quietly, tirelessly executing plans, turning ideas into reality day after day with so much riding on their daily performance and leadership. It's definitely a question worth pondering and perhaps appreciating just a little bit more.